Welcome to HFY Galactic Audiobooks, your gateway to the unknown, where the mysteries of the universe unfold before your eyes. Prepare yourself to dive into stories that blur the lines between reality and myth, where humanity's courage meets the vast, uncharted realms of the cosmos. From the deadly claws of alien warriors to the ancient rituals that govern the fates of entire species, we're here to bring you tales that will both haunt and inspire you. The air inside the ancient temple is thick, dense with the scent of incense, a mixture of spices and earth that clings to the throat and weighs down each breath. The walls of the temple rise like jagged obsidian cliffs, their black surfaces reflecting the dim flicker of torchlight, creating dancing shadows that shift and sway as if alive. The flickering flames illuminate symbols carved deep into the stone, symbols that speak of power, of blood, and of ancient rites. A rhythmic chanting fills the air, low and guttural, resonating through the bones of the very temple itself. The sound is hypnotic, echoing in every corner of the cavernous space. The alien warriors of the cross stand in a circle around Liam, their bodies massive and imposing, adorned in ceremonial armor that clinks with each subtle movement. Their eyes, gleaming gold, are locked on him with silent anticipation, waiting, watching, hungry for blood. Liam Grayson, once an ordinary human pilot, now finds himself on his knees, his wrists bound by thick chains forged from alien metal. The cold, heavy links dig into his skin, a stark reminder of his helplessness. His head is pounding, a throb of pain from the blow that had knocked him unconscious hours before. The air is suffocating, thick with smoke from the burning torches that flicker on either side of the ritual chamber. The weight of impending death hangs heavy in the air. He feels the weight of the warriors' gazes on him, as if their eyes alone are capable of stripping him down to his very soul. There is no escape, no chance to flee. This is his end. The chanting grows louder, their words incomprehensible, but their meaning clear. Blood will be spilled, and it will be his. The priest of the KRA, a figure draped in ritualistic markings, steps forward, his voice booming as it echoes in the vast hall. He speaks in galactic standard, though the accent is thick, the words heavy with gravity. This human has trespassed upon our holy grounds. By divine law, he must be offered to the goddess of death. Liam exhales sharply, his chest rising and falling with each labored breath. He had no interest in their holy lands, no allegiance to their enemies. He had simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time. His ship had crashed, damaged beyond repair. And before he could even think to salvage it, these beings had descended upon him like a storm. Now, they would take his life. That, he was sure of. But something stirs within him. A defiance. He locks eyes with the priest, with the warriors, with the figure at the center of this ritual. His gaze moves past them all, drawn inexorably to the one sitting on the obsidian throne. Her arrival is silent, as though the air itself bends around her. The moment Vexa steps forward, the chanting halts. The room goes still. All eyes are on her. She is an imposing figure, tall and regal, cloaked in dark ceremonial armor that catches the light, its surface etched with ancient symbols that seem to pulse with power. Her skin is a deep, radiant crimson, glowing faintly under the flickering torchlight, casting an otherworldly halo around her. Her golden eyes lock onto Liam with an intensity that feels like a physical blow, sharp, penetrating, and predatory. As she steps down from the elevated throne, her movements are fluid, precise, and terrifying in their elegance. The warriors instinctively lower their heads, their bodies stooped in a form of reverence. Her blade tail sways behind her, the weapon gleaming in the dim light, the edge honed sharp enough to cleave through flesh and bone in an instant. Liam feels his pulse quicken, but he forces himself to remain still. The tension in the room grows thick, suffocating. The very air seems to vibrate with her presence. The warriors murmur among themselves, their voices tinged with confusion and curiosity. But Liam doesn't care. He's no stranger to death, and if this is how his life is meant to end, then he will meet it on his own terms. With his head held high and his eyes never leaving hers, Liam speaks, his voice steady despite the pounding in his chest. "Go ahead," he says, the words thick with defiance. "Kill me. I'm not begging for mercy." The words echo in the quiet room, carrying an air of finality. His fate is sealed, he knows that. But if this is his end, he won't cower. Not in front of them. Not in front of her. There's a moment of silence. The warrior's eyes dart between Vexa and Liam, their breaths held in anticipation. The high priest steps forward, his hands trembling slightly as he raises them in a pleading gesture, speaking in a voice that cracks with uncertainty. "Great Vexa, the ritual this one dash." But she cuts him off with a flick of her tail. The sharp blade gleams in the torchlight, a warning that silences all around her. She speaks then, her voice deep and resonant, a sound that commands obedience. "No," she says simply, her gaze never leaving Liam. "I will not take this one's life." The words hang in the air like a storm cloud before it bursts, and the temple erupts in chaos. The warriors bark in their guttural language, some roaring their disapproval, others confused by her decision. The priest stumbles back, his face pale as he glances between her and the kneeling human. "But, great Vexa, the law." "I will not kill him," she repeats, her voice unwavering. "Instead, I will claim him." The room falls silent. Even the most seasoned warriors seem unsure of what to do. The word claim hangs in the air, its meaning unclear yet ominous. Liam's confusion deepens. What does it mean to be claimed by a goddess of death? Liam is released from his chains, though his mind reels, trying to comprehend what's happening. The warriors, still tense, remain unmoving as Vexa's gaze sweeps over him. He is no longer a prisoner, not yet, but neither is he free. The KRA warriors, once intent on his bloodshed, now look at him with something else: curiosity, perhaps even reverence. He doesn't understand why Vexa has spared him. He doesn't know why she's marked him for something beyond death, but he knows one thing for sure: his life is no longer his own. As he is dragged away by the warriors, his mind churns with questions, but the answers remain elusive. Why had Vexa chosen him? Why had she spared him when there had been so many others who had fallen before her? His confusion only deepens as the warriors lead him deeper into the temple, past corridors that seem to stretch into eternity, and into the unknown that lies beyond the stone walls. What is his fate now? And what does it mean to be claimed by the death goddess? Liam's world has shifted from the cold, sterile interior of his ship to the raw, primal world of the KRA, The massive stone walls of the temple rise like jagged teeth, cutting into the sky above, as though the structure itself is a living, breathing entity that has stood for eons. The sound of his footsteps reverberates through the hallways, mingling with the distant echoes of alien chants and the low hum of torches burning in the walls. The air is thick, as if the very atmosphere is imbued with ancient power. It presses against him, making each breath feel heavier, charged with the weight of something beyond his understanding. As Liam is escorted deeper into the temple, the warriors watching him do not speak, but their gazes are heavy, filled with a mixture of awe and suspicion. Their expressions shift between reverence and disdain, as if they cannot decide whether he is a prize or a threat. Their presence is unnerving. Tall, armored figures, each one a perfect embodiment of battle-hardened strength. Their eyes, gleaming with golden light, seem to pierce into him, reading him as if he is an open book. Vexa walks beside him, her steps deliberate, unhurried, her tail swishing behind her with the elegance of a predator. Her crimson skin glows faintly under the torchlight, and each of her movements radiates an aura of power that demands submission without uttering a word. The warriors part to make way for her, their heads slightly lowered in silent obedience. The tension in the air is palpable. It is as if they are walking through the heart of a living temple, a place where death, sacrifice, and power converge. The deeper Liam is led into the temple, the more he begins to feel the weight of the Krah's history pressing down on him. The stone walls are etched with ancient carvings, depictions of warriors in battle, their bodies frozen in motion, locked in eternal struggle. The intricate designs seem to shift as he moves past them, as if the images are alive, watching him, judging him. Above, great pillars rise, their black surfaces marked with centuries of wear. The torches that line the walls cast flickering shadows, creating a sense of movement in the otherwise still air. The temperature drops as they move through the inner chambers, the cold stone floors slick with ancient dust. The deeper they go, the more Liam senses the weight of this place, the power it holds, the lives that have been sacrificed within these walls. It is a place steeped in ritual and death, and yet, it feels alive, as if the temple itself is watching him. Vexa's voice breaks the silence, her words a low murmur that cuts through the air like a blade. This is where the Krah have always thrived, where we test the mettle of those who would serve. You are not like them, Liam Grayson. You do not belong. Yet, by sparing your life, I have chosen you. Her words send a shiver down his spine. He looks at her, trying to understand what she means by chosen. There is no explanation, only the unspoken weight of her gaze, a gaze that feels both protective and dangerous at once. The mark I placed upon you, she continues, her voice steady, makes you untouchable, sacred in the eyes of the Krah. You are above them now. But that does not make you safe. It makes you more vulnerable than you have ever been. You are in a limbo, neither fully one of us nor fully an outsider. It is a precarious place to be. Liam swallows hard. He doesn't understand it, but the finality in her words makes it clear there's no turning back. His life is no longer his own. Liam's first lessons are brutal. He is thrown into combat training with the Krah warriors, each session more grueling than the last. The warriors are relentless, their attacks swift and precise. Their combat style is unlike anything Liam has ever encountered. Each strike, Each movement is calculated to disable, to incapacitate. There is no room for hesitation, no room for mercy. The KRA warriors move with a speed and efficiency that makes Liam feel like prey, their attacks coming from all angles. Their weapons whistling through the air. Their strength is overwhelming, and their battle tactics are beyond his comprehension. He struggles to keep up, his limbs sore from the constant training, his mind reeling from the complexity of their fighting style. They are warriors through and through, born and bred for combat, and he is a mere human caught in the middle of it. But the KRA warriors do not give him the luxury of time. Each day, he is tested, pushed to the brink of his limits. His survival instincts kick in, his body reacting out of desperation rather than skill. He is beaten, bruised, and exhausted, but he refuses to yield. He learns to adapt, to use the environment around him, to think on his feet. Though he is not yet a true warrior, there is something in his defiance that sparks interest in Vexa. She watches from the shadows, her golden eyes tracking his every move, a quiet approval lingering in her gaze. She is pleased, but the stakes are high. Liam has no illusions. This is not just training. This is his test. If he fails, there will be no mercy. The day comes when Liam is led into an arena-like setting, a vast chamber surrounded by the KRA warriors. The space is circular, the stone floor worn from centuries of battles. There is a palpable tension in the air, a charged energy that crackles between the warriors and the spectators. The room is silent, expectant. Liam stands in the center of the arena, facing his opponent, a massive KRA warrior, twice his size, with thick, armored plating covering his body and a weapon that hums with deadly intent. The warrior steps forward, his eyes narrowing as he sizes Liam up. There is no mercy in his gaze. This will be a fight to the death. Liam's heart races, his instincts screaming at him to run, to flee. But there is nowhere to go. The KRA warriors watch from the sidelines, their expressions unreadable. Vexa stands among them, her presence a constant weight in the back of Liam's mind. She does not speak, but he feels her gaze burning into him, watching, waiting. The battle begins. The KRA warrior lunges, his blade a blur of motion. Liam barely manages to dodge, his heart pounding in his chest. The warrior's strikes are fast, almost too fast for him to react to, but Liam's survival instincts keep him alive. He moves, dodging and weaving, using his speed to his advantage. He is not a fighter like the KRA, but he knows how to survive. Every dodge, every roll, is an instinctive reaction. His life depends on it. But the warrior is relentless, and Liam is growing tired. He can feel his body slowing, his muscles aching from the constant movement. He knows that if he makes one wrong move, it will be his last. The warrior strikes again, and this time, Liam is too slow. The blade grazes his side, and pain explodes through him. But Liam does not fall. Instead, he twists, using the warrior's momentum against him, and slams his shoulder into the KRA's chest, knocking him off balance. It is a small victory, but it is enough to create an opening. Liam grabs a nearby weapon, an alien dagger, and thrusts it toward the warrior. It isn't a killing blow, but it's enough to force the KRA warrior back. The room falls silent. For a brief moment, there is only the sound of Liam's heavy breathing. He's not dead. He's still standing. Vexa watches, her expression inscrutable, but there is a glint in her golden eyes, something akin to satisfaction. Liam may not have won the fight, but he has proven something far more important, his refusal to surrender. The KRA warriors murmur among themselves, their respect for him growing. He is not one of them, but in this moment, he has earned something more valuable, their acknowledgement. As the warriors step forward to help Liam to his feet, Vexa's voice cuts through the murmur. He does not yield, she says, her voice steady, unwavering. That is enough. Liam's pulse still hammers in his ears, but he feels a strange surge of pride, mixed with exhaustion. He's not dead. Not yet. And for now, that is enough. The warriors step back, their respect for him now evident in their eyes. They do not see him as weak, as prey. They see him as a challenge, a warrior in the making. But Liam knows this is only the beginning. The real test has yet to come. The tension builds as the reality of his situation sinks deeper. The stakes are higher now, and Liam's path is uncertain. But there is one thing he is sure of: he has no choice but to fight for survival. The chamber where Liam stands feels ancient, its dark stone walls closing in around him, their surfaces marked by centuries of wear and ritual. A single torch flickers at the far side, casting a trembling light that dances across the cold, polished floor. The air is thick with the scent of incense, an overpowering mixture of cloying sweetness and bitter earth. The very atmosphere feels charged, alive with the hum of old magic, a power that pulses from the very stones beneath his feet. At the center of the room, a stone altar stands, its surface etched with intricate symbols that spiral into a complex pattern, glowing faintly as though infused with the remnants of ancient energy. Vexa moves toward it, her steps echoing through the silence. The golden gleam of her eyes flickers as she turns to Liam, her presence commanding and suffocating, as if she were both the air and the weight pressing down on him. With a slow, deliberate motion, she reaches out and lifts a ceremonial blade from the altar. The blade is long, its surface a dark, smooth obsidian, its edge gleaming with an unnatural sharpness that catches the dim light and reflects it back with an eerie glow. The weapon hums quietly, vibrating in her hand, as if it were alive, attuned to the ritual about to unfold. This blade, Vexa's voice cuts through the silence, smooth yet carrying the weight of centuries, is not just for the taking of life. It is a tool to bind, to claim, to make a bond that cannot be undone. Liam stands frozen for a moment, his heart pounding against his ribs. The weight of the decision presses heavily on him, the air in the chamber thick with the gravity of the moment. He knows this is not just some ceremonial act. This is a claim of ownership, of possession, of binding him to something ancient and powerful. A choice that will irrevocably change his path. Vexa steps closer, the blade gleaming between them. Her golden eyes hold his, unblinking, as if reading every thought in his mind, every hesitation. She is giving him a choice, yet it feels like no choice at all. You must decide, Liam Grayson, she says, her voice soft but filled with an undeniable finality. Will you accept the bond? Will you join us, or will you resist and remain an outsider, forever alone in this world? Liam's throat is dry. His hands tremble slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of the decision. This ritual, this blood bond, would tie him to her, this death goddess, and to a life he can barely comprehend. But what choice does he have? His survival depends on it. His breath hitches in his chest as he takes a slow step forward, his gaze never leaving the blade. The sharpness of it, the finality it represents, sends a chill down his spine. But with a quiet resolve, he holds his hand out, and in that moment, the bond is sealed. The sharp sting of the blade cutting into his palm is immediate and painful, but it is nothing compared to the sudden, suffocating pressure that seizes his chest the moment their blood mingles. The air around him seems to constrict, as though something ancient and powerful has awoken, something that now claims him as its own. His chest tightens with the intensity of the moment. The pressure coils around his lungs, making it harder to breathe, harder to think. His blood mingles with hers, a mixture of heat and cold, life and death, and for a single heartbeat, Liam feels as though he is no longer standing in a temple, but rather in the very heart of a vast, living universe. This is no longer a mere ritual. It is a transformation, a binding that ties him to Vexa in ways he does not yet understand. The force is overwhelming, intensely painful, yet somehow familiar. The moment passes, but the weight of it lingers, deep inside him. A part of him has changed, something intangible, and yet undeniably real. He is no longer just a man, a prisoner, a survivor. He is something else, something tied to this goddess, to the KRA, in ways that will never be undone. In the days following the ritual, Liam's life becomes a brutal grind of survival. His body is pushed to its limits, battered and bruised with each passing training session. The KRA warriors are relentless, offering him no mercy, no reprieve. Their fighting style is unlike anything he has ever encountered, swift, unyielding, and efficient. Each strike is calculated, each movement a deliberate step toward domination. Liam struggles to keep up. His body, still unfamiliar with the grueling training, aches in places he didn't know existed. His limbs grow heavy, his muscles sore from hours of combat practice, but he forces himself to continue. His mind is sharp, even if his body fails him at times. He moves, dodging blows, striking where he can, but the warriors are too fast, too skilled. They see him as weak, as unworthy, and they show no mercy. But it isn't the pain that shakes him. It is the uncertainty gnawing at his mind. What am I becoming? Each day he trains, he wonders if he is becoming something more, something greater, or if he is merely a pawn in a game he cannot understand. Vexa's presence looms over him, watching him from the shadows, her golden eyes always tracking his movements, assessing him with a keen, almost predatory gaze. There is no affection in her stare, only calculation, a cold, detached interest in whether he will prove worthy of the power he now possesses. Is this what it means to belong to her? To be marked as sacred and untouchable, but still forced to fight for his place. One evening, as Liam rests in his quarters, the door opens without warning. He tenses, his hand instinctively moving to the knife by his side, but when he sees who it is, he relaxes. Vexa stands in the doorway, her silhouette framed by the dim torchlight behind her. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The silence between them is heavy, filled with unspoken words and hidden truths. Then, Vexa steps into the room, her presence filling the space with an undeniable force. She stands before him, her gaze unwavering, and for the first time since his arrival, Liam sees something else in her eyes, something more than the cold, calculated control. There is a flicker of something deeper, something almost vulnerable, though it quickly disappears. "You are struggling," she says, her voice soft but firm, the weight of her words carrying through the silence. The Kra believe in strength above all else, strength in body, mind, and will. To survive here, you must understand that strength is loyalty. To be chosen, to be marked, is not just an honor. It is a responsibility. Liam's eyes narrow slightly, his confusion clear. Responsibility. "You marked me, Vexa, but I didn't choose this. I didn't ask for this." Vexa steps closer, her gaze never leaving his. "No, you did not choose. But now that you are here, you must prove your worth. You must show that you are not just a weak human, a fool who stumbled into our world by accident. You must show them you belong." Liam looks away, the weight of her words pressing down on him. "And what if I don't belong? What if I'm just a pawn in your game? What if I'm just a tool for you to use and discard when you're done?" Vexa's gaze softens just a fraction. "Then you will not survive. You must choose your path. This is not just about strength, it is about loyalty. To me. To the Kra." Her words hang in the air, and for the first time, Liam understands the true weight of what it means to be marked by her. It is not just about power, it is about belonging, about being bound to something greater than himself, something he cannot control. As he meets her gaze, a fire stirs inside him. Perhaps he is a pawn, but not one that will lie down and be played. The game may be hers, but the pieces are his to move. The heavy air of the chamber presses down on Liam as he steps into the vast hall. The walls, towering and dark, are carved with intricate patterns that seem to twist and shift in the flickering torchlight. The floor beneath his feet is cold, made of polished stone that gleams like the surface of a distant, alien moon. The room is silent, an oppressive stillness that carries the weight of centuries of decisions made in this very place. At the far end of the chamber, 5 thrones rise from the stone, each carved from jagged, black rock that seems to pulse with an ancient, unyielding energy. The high warlords of the KRA Dominion sit in these thrones, their figures cloaked in ceremonial armor, their faces cold and unreadable. Their eyes gleam like molten gold, piercing the very soul of anyone who dares to meet them. The air crackles with tension, a silent challenge hanging between them and Liam. Vexa stands beside him, her presence looming like a storm on the horizon. She does not speak, but her mere proximity feels like a shield, protecting him from the weight of the warlord's gaze. The warlords study him with a mix of curiosity and disdain, their expressions betraying little. The atmosphere is thick with expectation, as though the room itself is waiting for something to break, for some pivotal moment to shift the course of the trial. The warlord at the center, an older figure with deep scars running down his face, leans forward. His voice is low, gravelly, and filled with contempt. "This human," he says, his words heavy with judgment, "is weak. He is not KRA. He does not belong in our ranks. Yet, you Vexa have chosen him. Tell us, why should we accept him into our ranks when he is nothing more than a fragile outsider? The other warlords murmur in agreement, their voices a low, guttural hum that reverberates through the chamber. The scrutiny is unbearable, and for a moment, Liam feels the weight of their judgment pressing down on him, suffocating him. Vexa does not flinch, her gaze unwavering. She does not speak immediately, but the silence stretches long enough for the tension to grow unbearable. Finally, she turns her gaze to Liam, her golden eyes locked onto his with a quiet, knowing strength. "This one," she says, her voice cutting through the silence like a blade, "has been marked by me. His strength is not in his body, but in his will to survive. He will prove himself, not as a KRA, but as something more. Something that even you will recognize." The warlords exchange uneasy glances, their skepticism palpable. But the challenge has been laid down, and it cannot be taken back. The warlord in charge looks down at Liam, his voice hard and cold. "Prove it. Fight our champion, Ricker. To the death. If you survive, we will accept you as one of us. If not, you die here, as you should." The chamber falls silent once more, the heavy weight of the warlord's words hanging in the air like a dark omen. The trial has begun. Liam steps forward, heart pounding in his chest, but his resolve hardens. He will not back down. Not now. The arena is a vast, open space, the stone walls rising high above him like the jagged teeth of a predator. The ground beneath his feet is smooth, worn by centuries of battle. In the center of the arena stands Ricker, the KRA champion, a towering figure of strength and skill. His armor gleams in the torchlight, dark and imposing, and his weapon, a massive curved blade, rests easily in his hand, as though it were an extension of his very body. Ricker's golden eyes lock onto Liam with a look of disdain, his lips curling into a sneer. The warlords watch from above, their eyes cold and calculating, as if they are watching not just a fight, but the final judgment of a life. The moment is suspended in time, an eternity before the first strike is made. Liam's mind races, every survival instinct he has screaming at him to run. But he knows there is no escape now. There is only one choice: fight. Ricker charges with terrifying speed, his blade a blur of deadly intent. The air hums with the force of the attack, the sharp whistle of the blade cutting through the air like a lethal melody. Liam dodges, rolling across the ground, his heart racing in his chest as the blade narrowly misses him. He doesn't have the strength to match Ricker, but he has his wits, his ability to think on his feet, to adapt to the ever-changing fight. Liam's movements are swift, his body desperate, but he is slow compared to Ricker's unrelenting strength. He tries to strike, to find an opening, but each time he does, Ricker is too quick, too strong. The KRA warrior's blade slices through the air, forcing Liam to retreat, to dodge again and again, his breath coming in short gasps. But Liam doesn't give up. He refuses to yield. Each blow he dodges, each near miss, strengthens his resolve. His mind sharpens, his body growing accustomed to the rhythm of the fight, to the deadly dance with death that Ricker leads. He can't win with brute force, but maybe, just maybe, he can survive through sheer will. The fight rages on, the blows growing more intense, but something shifts. Riker hesitates. For a single moment, a fraction of a second, his guard falters just long enough for Liam to act. In that instant, he seizes the opportunity. With a burst of desperation, he lunges forward, grabbing a discarded weapon from the ground. The Kra warrior's eyes widen in surprise, but it's too late. Liam strikes, a swift, decisive blow, catching Riker off guard. The weapon presses against Riker's armor, a glancing strike, but it's enough to shift the momentum. The crowd gasps in shock, the warlords watching with rapt attention as Riker stumbles back, momentarily disoriented. In that brief hesitation, Liam doesn't falter. He presses forward, not with brute force, but with a precise, calculated move, striking Riker in a vulnerable spot, forcing him to his knees. The arena falls silent, the tension thick enough to choke on. Riker stares up at him, his breathing ragged, his eyes full of disbelief. Liam's pulse is pounding in his ears as he stands over him, his body trembling with exhaustion, but his resolve unbroken. The warlords remain silent, their eyes locked on the scene unfolding before them. Riker, the Kra champion, has been defeated not through overwhelming strength, but through survival, through adaptability. The crowd stirs, murmurs rippling through the warriors as they begin to realize that Liam, the outsider, is no longer just a prisoner. Vexa steps forward, her eyes gleaming with approval, her golden gaze never leaving Liam as she watches him, her expression unreadable. She knows what this victory means. He has earned his place. Not through force, but through sheer will. The warlords see it now. With a slow, deliberate motion, she raises her hand, signaling the end of the trial. The Kra warriors bow their heads in respect. The trial is over. Vexa turns to the warlords, her voice clear and commanding. He has proven himself. He is not just a servant. He is a warrior in my service. The warlords exchange glances, their expressions now filled with reluctant respect. There are no words spoken, but the meaning is clear. Liam has earned his place among them. He is no longer an outsider. Vexa steps forward, her gaze fixed on Liam. "You are mine," she says, her voice low, but filled with authority. "And now, you are one of us." The words settle in the air, marking a shift. Liam has become something more than he was. No longer a prisoner, no longer a pawn. He is a warrior in the eyes of the Kra. Liam and Vexa stand together on the balcony, overlooking the alien world. The landscape stretches out before them, vast and unforgiving, the mountains jagged and dark under a sky filled with distant stars. The silence between them is comfortable, but there is an unspoken understanding. Liam looks out at the horizon, his mind racing with the enormity of what has happened. He has become something else, something more. The journey that began with fear, with uncertainty, has led him here, to this moment of recognition. Vexa's voice cuts through the silence, calm and steady. "You are more than that now." Liam nods, though he still doesn't fully understand his place in this world, in this new reality. But for the first time, he doesn't feel lost. He doesn't feel like he's running anymore. His journey is far from over, but for the first time, he knows he has a place in it. As the journey continues, Liam Grayson has proven himself worthy of the unimaginable power and responsibility bestowed upon him. But the question remains, what does it truly mean to be marked by the Death Goddess? What is his place in this new, alien world? Will he continue to fight for survival, or will his struggle be his undoing? Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments below. We want to hear what you think. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to HFY Galactic Audiobooks for more of the cosmic mysteries and epic adventures that lie ahead.